First tip I want to give you in this assignment is just how to basically set it up so you can see how it's working. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you might do as your first step, because this one, breaks the rules a little bit of our IPO model of input process output. And so let's think about how we want to do that. The first thing is that this was going to involve a bunch of, excuse me, oh, a bunch of functions. I didn't know I was that boring. And when you want to create a function, you have to use the def symbol to create that function. Then, when you want to run the regular part of the program, you don't do that and you just put the regular part. So, this one's going to be a little funny in that we want to make our main code. We're going to make, and we're going to call that the only thing the main code's going to do, and I'm going to just give you this, is it's going to run a function called menu function. And so then we're going to make the menu actually appear in a function, and that means that our main code is only doing one thing, and that's it. We're going to come back to that to make it do one other thing in just a minute. So you'll see here, yeah, function menu is what I called it here, and then over here I called it menu function, because why would I want to be the same? Um, and it's going to print out these things. That's like the first function. So up here, we want to say, okay, we have a menu function, and that's how we set it up. And you might even put in the word pass, which, if you haven't seen that before, is a way to just say, if I ran it, it would give me an error because there's nothing in this. And if I say pass, it will work, and I won't get an error, even though it doesn't actually do anything. So here I say, well, I guess I'll save it in here. Functions examples. And see, it didn't do anything. It ran the code. But I had this need to prove that to you. If I take this out and I run the code, expected an indented block. So there needs to be something indented here in order to make it happy. So we'll use the word pass. Okay, so we need a menu function. Once that menu function is created, you are going to need to make a function that can do x to the y power. So let's do that. X to y. And this one has parameters because I'm probably giving too much away, but that's okay. Because we're like the menu function is going to ask it, hey, what numbers do you want to use when you run this x to the y? So we could be boring and make this x and y, but I think it would be more fun if we just thought about it as AB. And we'll pass that. The third function we want to do was the area of a circle. Let's try circ area. Up to you. This one needs to get the radius. Radius. Man. And then finally, or what might seem like finally, is the dice roller game. And it takes information. No, it doesn't actually, so we can make that one blank. And again, we can pass. So there we have, see, now I can get rid of all this space. Maybe. So there is the setup of this. Now it turns out that the dice roller game, or the Yahtzee game, I could have just put Yahtzee right there. Um, it's going to use another function to help it run the random numbers that it needs. And print out the dice that it needs. So we may make one more function, which is the actual dice roller. Like first we need to trigger the function and just say, hey, here's what's going to happen. And then we can have a function that actually goes and rolls the dice and comes back to it. So those are the 4 functions I'm going to be working on. And yeah, I said I'd do a loop, so I better do that before I forget. What we can do down here is we don't want to just run this function once, we want to run this function a bunch of times. And so we can do something like this. To run a loop, the keyword is while, and then you put a test here. And if it's true, if the test is true, it will do the thing inside of it. So it's just like an if statement. Some sort of test goes here, right? So, you know, things that we've done before. Imagine this, like while grades is less than 70, then you would print, you're failing or something like that. What we want to do now is we want to create an infinite loop, a loop that runs forever and ever. And a few ways that we can do that. Some people like to say, while 1 equals 1, then my loop will keep running, because that's forever. The other way to do it is to say, while truth exists. So we just say, while true. The computer just asks itself there, well, is there such a thing, a value as true? Yes, there is, so I'll keep running. Is there such a thing as a value of true? Yes, there is, so I'll keep running. And it's just constantly doing that loop over and over again, which means that our menu can be done over and over again until the person chooses to quit. So that's setting up the basics on that one and having fun with a new loop problem.